If you still think that AI and ChatGPT is for funny grandma videos on Facebook and kids cheating on homework, then you're probably already behind your competitors when it comes to using this stuff for your business. But have no fear, because I'm going to show you everything that you need to know about using ChatGPT in order to get more leads, speed up your admin process, close more deals, and make more money. My name is Nick, and I have helped landscaping businesses generate hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can see this company here went from 600,000 in estimates to 1.5 million. This isn't cash collected, but the quality and quantity of their leads drastically increased. This is their Google business profile that doubled. This is another company that doubled in calls and clicks and took home an extra $128,000 in just a couple of months. And then this is another landscaping company that I did some work for in September. You could see that their average position on Google was around 26, and after only 2 weeks of working with me, we doubled their increase. So today I'm going to show you this section of a 3-part series. So what we have here is we're going to use and build over the next couple of days some AI agents that help you get more work, do more work, and then get paid and grow your business. If we come over here to landscaping in Montana on Google and we click over to places, or even on all, you can see that each one of these is a Google business profile. So if you haven't set this one up yet, set it up ASAP. It is the highest leverage thing that you could do with your time today to get you more customers tomorrow. So I'm going to use Blanchford Landscape Group as an example here. If we look at their Google business profile, you could see that they have a variety of products listed. So in Google, you're allowed to choose several different categories that best explain your business. This company specifically chose interior services and landscape services. So these are categories. Underneath each category, you have something called a service. These are pre-selected by Google, and you kind of just click and fill which ones that you want to use. If you're having questions on which one belongs to you, you can download a free extension called Google My Business Everywhere. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but it's GMB Everywhere, and this kind of gives you some ideas. So you can see that I put landscaper, and from there it generated these other ones, and let's say that concrete contractor and construction company best fit my company. Now what you want to do is underneath each of your services, so under landscaper, you have all of these different services that you could choose that fit into your business. You want to pre-select from the ones that Google gives you instead of doing custom stuff, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to improve our rankings, and by using the information that Google gives us, it increases the likelihood that the Google robots trust us. So for this example, we're going to say that we are a landscaper, we are also a concrete contractor, and we're also a construction company. We have a variety of services that fit into each of these categories, and now we can design our website or redesign our website if you already have it. So this video is not going to be talking about all of the search engine optimization techniques. I'm just going to show you some basics on how you can reorganize your website to get some immediate wins, and then we're going to talk about how AI can help with that. So your homepage, you want this to be your primary category and then your city. So let's say landscaper, Lumberton, Texas. Or landscaper services in Lumberton. So you could see that the homepage links out to your secondary categories as well as your primary category. And that is it. You don't want your homepage to go all over the place. You only want it to link to these categories. And from each of these categories, you then link out to the rest of the services, specifically the ones that fit inside of the category, like we see here. By doing it this way, we do something called siloing, and we're siloing our website in content buckets, in relevancy buckets that Google can then use to determine what our website is about, because Google wants to put the correct information in front of its customers, and we help Google find the correct information by structuring our website in this way. So to see a quick example, here's the homepage of the company. The main tag on this one would be landscaper in city. And from the homepage, we link out to landscaping. You can see landscape services here. You can see concrete contractors, find out how we can double as your concrete contractors, and then find more about our construction company. So the homepage links out to the secondary and primary categories. From there, the primary category of landscaper links out to all of these different services. And once you click on any of these links right here, it brings you to the actual service page with good, well-written content. So that's the basics of SEO before we talk about the rest of the AI stuff. And now I want to quickly touch on prompting. So Most people, when they use ChatGPT, they use it, first off, they use the free version, which is already worse than most professionals. And then secondly, they don't know how to talk to the AI. You want to treat ChatGPT almost as if it's like a super intelligent toddler. So it has all of the information in the world, but it kind of just sits up there and looks at you and it agrees with everything that you say, and it kind of just gives vague knowledge based on how you talk to it. But if you give it super specific context, it can really level up its game. So here I did make a Facebook post about lawn care, and you can see we get something super generic. It's like, hey, it's not about perfection, it's about consistency. My lawn is talking, it says help, it's super boring. And hey, if you're not doing anything, this is definitely better than nothing, but we can do better. So let's do better. We're gonna say, write a short punchy Facebook post for homeowners. So we're talking to our customer avatar in a hot climate who are tired of high water bills. So now we're talking to a specific type of customer, and we're talking about a specific problem. And then we give it some guidance here on how to write our post, and then we give it a call to action. So now you can see that this one is a lot more concise. It's a lot more high quality. Tired of feeling that your water bill, so we quickly hit them with money. We almost frame our services as a money saving service. If your sprinkler system is misting the sidewalk, this is very specific. Watering the fence or running longer than a marathon, you're paying for every drop of that waste. So as you can see, this ends up being a much higher quality product than just this, because we gave it some more context about how we like to talk. But we can do better. So let's do better. So in this one, we're going to say that you are an intelligent copywriter for a landscape company. You will help me create content that acts as conversion optimization for people curious about the company, entertains readers, and provides useful information. Do not sound corporate. You do not consistently ask people to buy. See, this part is important right here, because as a local landscaping company, we don't want to make ourselves appear as if we're just salespeople. What we want to do is we want to build a relationship with our audience. So then you say, what are at least 10 things that you need to know about me and my business to give me high quality content? Don't make assumptions, ask for clarification and refinement. So what we're doing is we're telling this hyper intelligent toddler how to communicate with us and what our goals and aspirations are for this content thread that we're going to do. So it's going to give us 10 different questions, and then we're going to answer all of those in depth. Once you answer all of the questions, you're going to say, write a content calendar that keeps the give to ask ratio a minimum of 4:1. The reason we want to say this is because if you notice when you're watching TV, if you have an hour of runtime, usually there's 37 to 44 minutes-ish of content, and then they have the rest of that time is filled with commercials. They do that because they have found out over the years that about 4:1, 3:1 in some cases is the optimal way to advertise without actually fatiguing your audience. Your audience is on Facebook, so they're already seeing ads. So we might actually want to make this 6:1 or 7:1, so that way they're not constantly being hammered by you asking them to buy things. Again, you just want to build a relationship with them. You're going to get a content calendar, and what you're going to do as the business owner is you're going to make sure that it kind of fits the vibe that you want to go for your page. And again, anything is better than nothing, so don't overthink this too much. And then you're going to ask the AI to give you a content idea and a goal. So for instance, here's the idea of it and what you wanted to do. The goal is to offer them small solutions that they can do themselves. That's the goal of the post. You're going to get a caption of the post and then a call to action, and it could be soft or hard, and it's optional. So what I mean by that is a soft call to action is like comment about a time that your dog ran through your house and made a mess. A hard call to action is call the number below. So we want more soft or none more often than we do hard. Again, thinking about that give to ask ratio. So then it's going to give you the calendar. You're going to refine the calendar, make sure it looks good, and then you're going to start batching out that content. So instead of just explaining this to you, let me show you exactly how this works. By the way, if you find this interesting, you can click the link in my description and it will bring you to a full 23 plus page guide that explains exactly how to use AI in your business. It has all of the prompts that we're using in this video, plus a ton more that I haven't even gotten into yet. So if you'd like to transform your landscaping business, you can download that document and use it to really turn the tables on your competitors. So what I'm doing here is I'm sending in that first prompt, and it's going to give me a list of questions that me, the business owner, is going to have to answer. Now, you might answer them the first time and then it asks for clarifications. Do that. It is so important for you to give this highly intelligent toddler as much context as you can. Otherwise, your posts are going to look like the same boring AI garbage that's already on the internet. All right, so now I've given the AI my answers, and I'm going to scroll all the way down and I'm going to say, write a content calendar. This is the same exact prompt that was in the Canva, and I'm gonna go ahead and click send. So as you can see, this is some pretty quality stuff. You can kind of ignore the week 1, week 2, whatever, unless you're like really dialed into planning this. But now I'm just gonna go ahead and say, cool, generate week 1 content. And then from here, it's gonna give the posts with a lot more clarification and details than previously. All right, so now we have exactly what we asked for. So the content idea and goal, a simple static graphic or a short reel, sad yellowing yard with a text display. It's not fertilizer, it's the soil. So this would be on the image, and our goal is to educate homeowners on why grass struggles. So then we have a caption, and then this is like kind of some funny things, and then you can dial in the tone as you continue to go. So that's some of the basics on prompting, but we can do better. So we're gonna generate one final master document with our prompts, and that is gonna help us for the rest of this video as we continue to build these little AI robot assistants that help us grow our business. So here I'm using a super detailed prompt. Again, we wanna get as specific as possible, and this is also in the link in the description, just like I mentioned. And what we're gonna do is paste several samples of writing after this prompt, but what this is gonna do is it's gonna break down a high level snapshot, a voice and tone, a structure and flow, sentence level style, etc. It's gonna break it down super specific. And what this is gonna do is, this is actually my own that I've done before, as I've used this prompt before in my own business. And what it does is it gives this super high quality, super detailed answer. So this is breaking down my exact structure. It talks about how I like to be faith forward, I like to be confident, I like to call the reader to a challenge. It breaks down the structure and flow. So you can see it breaks this down super specifically. And now the real leverage here is we can copy and paste this, put this into a text document. And once we have that text document, we have that forever. And anytime we go into ChatGPT, we upload that master text document, which allows the GPT to have all sorts of context on it. So here I'm going to give it my writing tone text document, and I'm going to give it a prompt. And again, this is a bad prompt. We just talked about the prompt structures, but even this with this document is going to be so much more incredibly useful than anything that you have probably ever used before. And you could see, have you ever noticed that some yards just look like the homeowner has their life together? It's not magic, it's water managed well. It's not a luxury item, it's a quiet form of stewardship, not the kind that you brag about, but the neighbors definitely notice. So we're introducing a little bit of jealousy there, which is another marketing strategy. Talks about what most homeowners do, and then it talks about how this is good, and maybe my tone of voice with the spirituality and the story and the reflection. This probably goes a little bit too hard for something like sprinkler systems, but you could see that it's a lot more tailored to my tone of voice. Combined with some good prompting, this little document can become a content machine. And from there, you can schedule your posts, as we're gonna get onto later in the video. Now that we have this text document, we can use it in all of our threads going forward, generate tons of content in one sitting, edit what needs to be edited, and then we can auto schedule our posts for the next month. All right, so now that we've covered the basics, I wanna talk about how we can audit your site so we can structure it just like I showed you earlier. We can write all of the content for it, make you tons of content for your social media posts, and then tons of content for your ads. Even if you don't run ads, it's pretty much the same system as your content generator, but I will show you a few tips and tricks. So if that's something that you do, you could stick around and watch that. Again, this is all in the link in the description. So we're gonna use a free tool called Screaming Frog combined with our ChatGPT and our Google Business Profile, and we're going to get a detailed audit of our business. And we're trying to follow this structure up here that we talked about earlier. and this prompt will make sure that our website fits those parameters. So I've downloaded Screamfrog, which again, I'm using only the free version. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in the website that we were looking at earlier, and this will just be our test. And as our prompt says, what we want to do is we want to get the links underscore all CSV and internal underscore all CSV. And by doing that, we're going to fill out some of this information and get a super comprehensive idea of what our website looks like. All right, so I'm over here in Screaming Frog, and I'm going to come over here to the top where it says internal, and I'm going to click export, and let's go ahead and rename this as test.internal underscore all CSV, etc. And I'm going to just go ahead and save this one. And then because our prompt told us to, we're also going to go to links. And I'm going to save this one as well. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to name this as test dot so that way I could find it later. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to, since we went ahead and scraped that other website that we were testing, I just copied all of their information over. So interior services is their primary and their secondary is landscaper services. And then here is their services again. So interior, this is all the services that are under their category. And then under their secondary category, these are all the services. It looks to me like their city name was Bozeman. I've never been to Montana, so I'm not sure if that's how to say it or that's actually a real city, but you would just put whatever city that you need in there. And then from here, we're just gonna upload our Screaming Frog files. All right, so we have those uploaded and we're gonna go ahead and click run. The GPT is gonna analyze, it's gonna take its time, it's gonna read through all of these files. So you can see it gives us a pretty comprehensive audit. It gives everything, lots of X's, it's pretty easy to read. It tells you exactly what to fix and how to fix it. You can even ask it some follow-up questions if you need to, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back over here to our prompting guide. Since it's telling me that I have all sorts of issues, I'm gonna take this right here and I'm gonna give it to the GPT. I'm going to fill out all of this information in the brackets. And again, make sure you give it your text file, your tone of voice that we generated earlier. So once I fill out this information and I hit send, this is gonna write for me the home page. So we wanna restructure our home page. And again, you don't have to redesign your entire website. What you wanna do is you just wanna change the way that the pages talk to each other. So you change a few taglines and headlines, and then outside of that, you pretty much just format everything to fit your already existing website. All right, so I've go ahead and I've put in some filler information right here, and again, you can go in as much detail as you want in order to give this thing the most amount of context. And what this is going to do is it's going to generate a pretty good homepage. But what it's also doing is it's clarifying. It's going to ask us to make sure any more information that we need. So because this is just an example, I'm gonna say, make something up. I trust you. You never wanna do this actually, but just for the sake of this video, I would like to just show you how this works. So you can see that it's saying the title is gonna be primary category and then the city and then some other keywords that we can use to rank our website. And then it kind of just in these first few paragraphs, it labels a problem and then it gives some proof about how great we are. And then you can use a lot of this content either as inspiration or kind of just straight copy paste in order to start qualifying some stuff. And you can see that it is saying this will sit above our different services in our silo. It generates, again, the landscaper services, Bozeman, some more keywords, and then this just kind of gives you some really quality content for you to start building that website. So that's how we can use AI to help us be our search engine optimization assistant, and we can also use it for content generation. Now, I already covered this in depth, but I do want to show you two more little tricks that you can use, and then we can move on to the next section. So if you pay for the pro account, which hopefully at this point I've convinced you to do that because of how powerful it is, you have access to something called projects. And in these projects, you can upload loads of files and you can make this a kind of like a hub of information. So in this project, everything references each other. It all exists in this little silo. So instead of getting context on like, hey, I have this weird thing on my tooth, or hey, write this funny joke for my friends so that way I can impress them and stop being lonely. Instead of it referencing all of that stuff, it stays within this project and it lives on the context that you give it. So download your favorite YouTube videos, download the transcripts for them, find some Facebook posts that you really like or some brands that you would like to model, and then you save those captions and those posts You turn them into files, you add files to the project, and every time you start a new chat in this project, it will reference those files. For example, for my own business, I have a Redwater content plus copy section, and in here I've uploaded files. I've uploaded a writing tone, a question and answer about my specific business. That way it has even more context, and I gave it a report on some of the work that I've done in the past so it can reference past wins and use that in the content. From here, I can do short scripts. I could say, hey, what's some community post ideas, etc. It can help me create some lead magnets, and all of these things. Since it exists in this one project, it's hyper specific to the things that I'm working on. So to give you an example, I am saying, based on my business, write some valuable posts to help landscapers make more money, keep it in my tone, call to action to my website to book a call, and if you have all the flexibility outside of that. Now, I have to emphasize that you have to be the leader in this AI, otherwise it gives you garbage and you don't actually know if the advice is good. So because I have given this AI so much context about me, who I am, and my business, this can actually give some decent foundational content, but it won't be able to give as much advice as if I was doing it. So you can't make the AI pretend to be you, but you can use this to help you generate a lot of content, almost like you're chatting with a buddy. You're kind of throwing some ideas around, and then you take the stuff that's kind of good and you make it really high quality. So you can see in post 1 what quietly kills profit for landscapers. It's silence, the silence between when somebody reaches out and you send an estimate or when they fill out a form. Silence is expensive. Simple speed to lead system that we've built, and now it's saying if you want help installing the same systems, the ones that buy back your evenings, you could book a call with me at redwaterrevenue.com. So this post is actually pretty correct. A huge reason that landscapers lose lots of businesses is because they just take too long. Lots of homeowners, they value speed. We're humans and we don't really like people that take a really long time, so we value speed and we're willing to pay more today instead of less tomorrow. So that's actually some pretty good advice. I would probably change it up a little bit, but you could see how this could be super powerful. And then every time you need to do more content, say this gives me 5 posts to draft on, I could just come back here to my folder and I could do it again. So the next tip that I have for you is you can take all of these posts and you can use a tool such as GoHighLevel, and you can schedule all of these to auto post for the next couple of weeks. So if I click over here, this is the GoHighLevel tab. I can click into marketing. From here, I can connect various socials, and it connects to tons of different things. You can manage everything in one place, and then you can click on new post. And once you click on new post, you put in your caption, you put in your images, and then you could schedule them to post tomorrow, the next day, a month from now, however you want to do it. If you would like to see how you can make lots of money using a tool like GoHighLevel, I can set it all up for you. I already have all of these systems built, so all I have to do is import it into your account and set you up nicely. So you can book a call with me if that is something that you're interested in. But outside of that, let's go ahead and talk about the final piece of the puzzle here, which is the ads and the creatives. So because of legal reasons, every company has to include their ads in a public library. So by searching landscape, we can come over here and we can see what the best content is doing. Now we don't exactly have the metrics, but we can kind of get a good approximation. So we go to filters, and we're going to filter by a couple months back. Now the reason for this is if we find ads that are still active, that have been running since July, they probably work pretty well. Because if they didn't work, the homeowners or the business owners would not continue to pay money on these ads. We're gonna find some ads that we like for inspiration. This one looks pretty cool, I think. So I'm gonna click see ad details. Maybe you'll look at some of the pictures for inspiration. They're doing pretty well. Say goodbye to Soggy and contact us. No more flooded garage. See, you're touching on pain points. So what I could do is I can copy this and I can go back into our same exact project. And now I can paste this and I could say, analyze this and rewrite it for my business in my tone of voice. Let's say my company name is Redwater Landscaping. And I spelled it wrong, but that's okay. And you can see that my ChatGPT is a little bit witty. It likes to poke fun just because that's my kind of tone of voice. And you can see that it rewrites and it gives you some ideas. So using the Facebook ad library, you can ethically spy on your competitors and then use their best performing content in order to write your own. So those are a handful of ways that you can make a lot more money in your landscaping business using AI tools like ChatGPT. If you'd like me to install these systems into your business and help you book another 15 to 30 appointments in the next 90 days, you can click a link, book a call with me, and I would love to help you, even if I just chat with you for free for a little bit and help you, point you in the right direction. Other than that, God bless, take care, and I hope you make gobs and gobs of money.